myself Vaibhav. In today's session, we are seeing the clawback of the equity indices in the US session. We saw heavy losses after the debate unfolded between Mr. Trump and Mr. Biden, and this was very acrimonious and a lot of shouting and cutting each other halfway, and no cordiality was lost between the two opponents. And as things stood, we saw sharp losses also. And now, as the day has progressed and we are going to the new session, I think the turnaround is happening, and we will see the possibilities emerging in this backdrop. If we consider the trading context, we had plenty of data releases for the day, starting from the China. The PMI numbers were released for the month of September, and here, if you consider the NBS manufacturing PMI, it stands at 51.5, which is better than the prior month's reading of 51. And non-manufacturing PMI, that is the services sector PMI, is doing fabulously. And now for the month of September, it is at 55.9 compared to the prior reading of 55.2. So both these readings are pointing to the expansion happening in the Chinese economy, and also the pace of expansion is gaining pace, that is improving over the prior months. Later in the day, during the European trading session, we also got the plenty of releases for Germany. We got the retail sales numbers, unemployment data, the import and the export numbers also. And this is pretty much the mixed data set. We saw that retail sales have improved 3.1% in terms of month on month. So in terms of month on month, there was robust rise compared to the prior reading of minus 0.2. However, in terms of year on year, the growth is of course better than expectation, but more modest. And the unemployment rate stands at 4.4%, which is the highest reading for last 4 years. We also got the final numbers for the United States GDP, and now the second quarter GDP has been confirmed at minus 31.4%. This is the contraction in GDP in terms of quarter on quarter, which is annualized, and we saw minor upward revision. Earlier the figure was at 31.7%. Just in a while, we are also scheduled to get the EIS crude oil inventory data, and here we are expecting the drawdown to the tune of 1 million barrels. In the last week also we saw the drawdown of 1.639 million barrels, and this trend is likely to continue as more and more parts of economy are getting back on track. But as the coronavirus situation is yet to be brought under control, we will have to see how this situation evolves, and if the improvement in the crude oil uptake is uh, will be maintained or not moving forward. Let's shift our attention to the technical outlook. Here we will first cover the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and then we will move on to the currency segment where we will see the Euro USD's technical prospects. Let's start with the Dow Jones Industrial Average technical outlook. This is the daily time frame chart, and after getting close to the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement of its rally starting from 24,500 to the all the way towards 29,000, we saw this correction taking place, and in past couple of sessions we have seen the rebound, and in today's session, as I said in the opening remarks, we saw the correction, and then as we are now in the US session, we are pretty much back towards the day's highs, and I feel that we are likely to see the continuation of the upward momentum in next few sessions. So here we will be looking at the possibilities for the long trade emerging in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Coming to the lower time frame chart of 4 hourly, we have the regression curve which is still pointing to the downward momentum, and also the price action is caught between this central pivot point on the higher side and the first support on the lower side. We saw the support coming into play and providing some buying momentum closer to the 26,500 level, and we saw sharp recovery from those levels. But now for last two trading sessions, we have seen the Dow Jones Industrial Average hovering in the vicinity of 27,500, and in today's session we are seeing sharp recovery after the dip towards 27,200. In this backdrop, we I think will be in a better position to go for a long trade, and we can expect the further retest of this immediate swing high around 27,800, or a move even beyond that, as the larger trend is still bullish, and as we saw, the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement of its prior rally has been providing decent support on the lower side. Coming to the hourly chart, I feel we can use this confluence of 50, 100 and 200 SMAs. Here we have these 50 SMA around 27,500, which did provide support in the earlier hours of yesterday's trading session. Then we saw the break below it, but this fall subsided closer to this 100 SMA, and here after due consolidation in today's session the momentum again picked up, and here we are looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average trying to break above this 50 SMA. So I feel we can utilize this price area around 100 and 200 SMA in the price band of this 27,200 to 27,300. So here, if we are able to get the fresh entry for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, that should be lapped up. Just a couple of hours back, the price action was hovering close to that area, but now the momentum has picked up, and we have seen almost 1 percentage point gains from those levels. So here we will have to now again wait it out and pray for some correction from the current levels, else we will have to take the risk, but of course that will extend the stop loss and increase our supposed risk, as we will have to keep the stop loss anywhere little lower than the 27,000. So because of that, the stop loss is going to be a lot wider if we are going for a buy trade around 27,500. That will be almost close to 2 percentage point. So instead of that, I feel if we get any entry anywhere closer to this 100 and 200 SMA, that would be an optimum opportunity to go for the fresh trade, and on the higher side we can target more than 500 points, and that will provide us the risk reward ratio which will be better than 1 is to 2. Now moving on to the currency segment, here we will first see the Euro USD's technical outlook. The daily time frame chart is showing the fact that Euro USD has entered into a consolidation phase. We saw this extended sideways momentum in the Euro USD for last 2 months. Then eventually it broke on the downside, but it did find some support closer to the 1.16 level, and from those levels it is trying to claw back and inching towards the higher levels of 1.175. In today's session, we saw some selling momentum on the higher side, and right now it is trading close to the 1.17 mark. And looking at that backdrop, I feel though the medium term trend is still sideways to bearish, and even there is not much of clarity on the shorter time frame, we can look for scalping kind of trading opportunities, and here we will basically look at the opportunities where stop losses and the targets will be fairly sharp and we will not be looking at big swing trades. If you consider the regression curve as well as the pivot point series, both of these technical indicators are pointing to the continuation of the bearish tendencies. The only fact is that this price action has now moved to the upper band of this regression curve, and that is likely to result in the flattening of the regression curve in next couple of sessions if the price action continues to stay in the upper band of this curve. So coming to the hourly chart, I feel that we have this extended consolidation closer to 1.16 in place. We can indeed go for scalping kind of trades with these prior swing highs in play. We can expect this 100 SMA zone around 1.168 to act as a near-term support. We have these prior swing highs and this 100 SMA, and we are pretty much looking at this possibility of 50 SMA crossing above 200 SMA if the price action continues to stay closer to the 200 SMA zone. So looking at that possibility, if we are going to go for the short-term trading, the scalping opportunities, the tendency should be on the long side. We should be looking for the buy trades instead of going for the with the sell with the trend trades now, as we have already seen substantial move on the lower side, and here the euro USD has entered into a retracement zone. So instead of seeing big moves on the either side, we might see some sideways price action where the support might come into play closer to this prior swing prior swing high and 100 SMA zone. So unless and until there is a break below this price zone, we can continue to look for fresh opportunities for scalping, and any buy anywhere in the price band closer to these 1.167 to 1.169 should be a good opportunity to go long in the euro USD. So let's see how things shape up in the euro USD in today's session, and we will have further clarity by the time we come back for tomorrow's European trading session. And if you do get the entry, then I think the stop loss should be kept somewhere close to this immediate swing low around 1.165 to 1.164. That should be the stop loss of around 30 to 40 pips. And on the higher side, we can pretty much expect the retest of this immediate swing high, which is there around 1.175. So that's it from my side for today's session. If any of you have any query or any idea to share, you can write it in the comment section and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Before I sign off, I would also like to remind of the risk associated with trading in the financial instrument, and one should be careful while using the information provided. Have a fabulous day ahead. Goodbye.